Welcome to the I Am Radio TV Network with today's feature show, Interactive Interviews, with your host, Jeffrey Miller. Get ready to go interactive.
Hello. I don't know if anyone can hear me because they're not able to hear you. No, so all that wonderful intro you've been doing, people like Joe Bullock and Gail Vilku have been saying they've not been able to hear you. So thank you so much for sticking around. If you can let us know if you can hear me, that would be wonderful. So Gail is saying, I can hear you, Emily. Great. So that's working. Yeah. So Danica can hear me, but not Jeffrey. So hopefully I'm going to put me on screen. So it's going to be just me for a moment while Jeff figures out what's happening with his microphone. So, hey, Sally. I'm so happy that you're here. So welcome, everyone. Jeff will be with us in a moment, and I'll ask him to do an introduction again because I know he does a phenomenal job when it comes to introducing guests on the interactive interview show. And I'm so glad that he knows how to do that and he is available. Hi, Gail. Thanks for joining us today. And Danica, thank you for saying that you love the necklace, by the way. If anybody likes the bling that I'm wearing, then let's talk after the show because that is something that I do like to share, the sparkle. Hey, Dan. You say, I hear Emily Miller. Thank you so much, Dan, for being here. And I just want to let you know that I did receive your questions, so I will be covering them in this show. And I wonder if Jeff is ready to come back and join us yet. So he's still trying, he says so. So yeah, I will share a little bit about who I am and why we're here today, because I love connecting the dots. And I teased you in the entry to the show saying that I would be sharing about how to monetize your message online using something like this, a TV show, because my story actually starts when I was 14 years old. I was at home living in England. Yes, it's a British accent. I have lived in New Zealand and Australia, and so some people say I have a slight twang where I've kept some of those words, but mostly it's the British accent, even though I've been living over here in the States for at least 5 years. And so the story begins when I was a teenager and I was bored and I was watching TV and there was an interview show. And you may have heard of the lady who does the interview show because she's rather famous. In fact, her name is Oprah. Yes, I was watching Oprah and she was interviewing a psychologist who had written a book. I forget what book it was now, but it was a book that I was particularly impressed with. And I went to myself, you know what? When I grow up, I want to be a psychologist. And so that was kind of something that stuck with me. And the reason I felt it was relevant to share with you guys today is because guess what? I'm on a TV show on being aired live on Facebook and on YouTube, and I'm being interviewed. And I did study psychology. In fact, I got a master's in psychology as well as a bachelor's of science in psychology, specializing in business and media. And oh, what's this I can hear? Can I hear Mr. Miller? Not yet, not yet. Okay.
Not yet.
Well, and thank you, Joel. Thank you for being here with me live today, saying go, Emily, because Jill and I are two Choose to Win Ziegler coaches. In fact, Danica Trebell, who's here today as well, she's also Choose to Win Ziegler coach. And we are passionate about sharing a message with the world that we believe is very much needed. It's a message of really understanding who God created you to be. And also, when you know who God created you to be, it's like, well, how do you follow your purpose? How do you hear from God? And, what is the path that you need to be taking? And so that is some of the things that I will be sharing a little bit more with, because it's also something that's very dear to my
How's that?
heart.
Am I here?
I can hear you, yes. So I'm going to bring you back on
Can you hear me?
stage.
Am I? All right. Am I here? Am I finally here? Are you hearing me through the house? You hear me through my system, Emily?
I think I can hear you through the system. We've got some hearts from Jill Pittman. So let's see. Yes.
Well, I don't
We can
know.
hear
Can
you.
everybody
We
else?
can hear Jeff.
Yes, everybody's saying yes in the comments. Oh my word!
This
you know
is
what?
live.
There's
This
got
is
to
live
be a
stream.
reason
So
things
thank you
happen.
for.
There we go. Thank you, Gail. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Well, Emily, you're doing a great job. I mean, you just took the show. I mean, you just ran with it. And see, when tech problems happen, this lady's got them covered. That's why you want to hear what she's got to say. Yeah. Go ahead. Continue, my dear. Thank you, Joe.
Well, thank you. And thank you,
All right.
Danica.
Thank you, Joe. All right. Carry on, Emily. Thank you.
So, yes, from a young age, I had clarity of what I wanted to do. And so I went to university, I studied psychology, and I was always passionate about media. And understanding how we can use video conferencing to communicate and all the different things that come into play when we're not physically face to face with people. And like Jeff has just put on the screen here, Danica, thank you for saying it's time to live our true identities rather than lie identities we've inherited. And yes, so I've always wanted to work with others to help them get that clarity about who they are, how they can be the best person they can be. And at least for the first part of my life as an adult, it was within the British Civil Service in a Department for Education, working with the staff who were responsible for school policies and helping them to be the best they could be in terms of their performance, their career development, and just making sure that the organization as a whole had what it needed to invest in people and to build a culture in the workplace that promoted peace and harmony. So I'm laughing because I'm reminded of when I chatted with Risa Baker, and she was telling me, Emily, your strengths, your personality, according to DISC, those are all things that are about peacemaker and harmony. So, there's a lot that we can learn about each other thanks to personal development tools, and also thanks to the Bible, because I believe the Bible tells us who we are. If we believe in Jesus Christ and follow him, we become born again, and we basically have a new identity in Christ. And that was something that really struck home about 2 years ago, that even though I am weak, he says I am strong. And that when you learn the Ziegler philosophy, there are lots of characteristics and qualities of success that you can claim for yourself and learn to develop and use, thanks to some of the resources they make available for free. And one of my favorite ones is the positive self-talk card. So if you've not come across the positive self-talk card, then leave a comment in the underneath this video, and I will reach out to you and share with you how you can get your hands on a copy for free.
Excellent, 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 Emily. Wow. I don't even know at this point if I need to start over and do your intro. I mean, gosh, you've just taken it on, and I'll tell you what, it is, wow. I'm excited, ladies and gentlemen, and I know I'm a little biased here, but you know what? Emily has her stuff in the right direction. I mean, she walks the talk, okay? She talks the walk, as they say. She knows a lot of stuff to do with what we need to do to monetize our message. I love how you said your key message is you need to know who you are, your purpose, who God made you to be, and you need to trust God. I love that statement. So, and your dream, kids and adults with parents who know what is true about themselves, the Zig philosophy. You mentioned Ziegler, and I know I made a big deal out of that when we were talking about this show happening. We had some wonderful news not too long ago, and we received a message from Mr. Tom Ziegler. In fact, Tom has been really fantastic. We've known Tom for, gosh, I guess about 5 years now, personally. Tom Ziegler, the proud son of Zig Ziglar. Tom and Emily and I met each other in Wembley, in the jolly town of London in England. And this is a quick story, and I'll tell you, because we just were thrilled to be able to take opportunity. The opportunities present themselves sometimes. You have to take advantage of those. You have to know when to say yes. I get an email from Mr. Tom Ziegler. I hadn't met him yet. I didn't know. I knew who he was, of course, the proud son of Zig. And I know all about Zig because I followed the philosophy of Zig in my business for years, to do with sales or marketing, etc. But I got an email while we were in England at Emily's flat. And the email said, Jeffrey, I have an opportunity for several people to come and visit me in between a training I'm doing and at the, I don't remember the name of the hotel, but that doesn't matter.
I think it was the
Right near
Hilton.
Wembley Stadium. Is that anything? Yeah, there probably was the Hilton at Wembley, correct. And I said to Emily, I said, you know what? This is one of these things that feels right. It feels like, what would it take us to get there? She said, about 2.5 hours drive. And the insurance over in England would not allow me to drive her car, though I love to drive on the wrong side of the road. And I call it the wrong side of the road because we drive on the right side of the road, right? I mean, literally, we drive on the right side of the road. So off we went, and we loaded up the iPad with the map, and off we went. We made one wrong turn at one roundabout in traffic. We finally found the place. We were about 8 minutes late to walk in the door for our prescribed time to meet with Tom. And we figured there was going to be a bunch of other people there. Well, we opened the doors to this big meeting room, and we looked down to the front, and I said, oh, my goodness, we missed him. Oh, what are we going to do now? So then we looked, and I said, no, I don't think so. Come on, let's walk down and talk to those people. Maybe they know where he is. Well, next thing we know, a gentleman turns around and looks at us. He goes, oh, Jeffrey Miller, how are you? And it was Mr. Tom Ziegler himself. Look, and I said, so I introduced Emily, and we sat down at a round table with some of his top coaches. They were doing a training for Ziegler Legacy coaches in Wembley Stadium, right near Wembley. And we must have spent an hour and a half until the next session of the training came to be. We got all kinds of great stuff, CDs and books and planner and all that great stuff before we left. And it was a memory that stuck with us for a long time. And roll ahead a number of years, and I stayed in contact with Tom. Emily did too. And I got the invitation to be part of Tom's mastermind, the Monday morning show back when it was called Choose to Win. And I just enjoyed myself so much that we decided we would get really involved with Ziegler. And we went to the first ever Ziegler Legacy Conference in Dallas, which was 2 years ago yesterday. Imagine that. 2 years ago yesterday, we got to meet again, get to give Tom a big brotherly hug around the neck, as they say in Texas. And meet the entire family. And we went to Zig headquarters with Mr. Howard Partridge, and we had a ball. The conference was fantastic, and it was great. So we have been Ziglerites ever since that first time we met Tom.
I think he calls
so
it
you'll
Ziglets.
notice if you look at my Ziglets, I like Ziglerites, but anyway, we'll call it Ziglets. That sounds like a gum. I mean, so I'm telling you, I get some comments over here, Emily. I'm going to, I wanted to get on though, and that's the Danica. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Great. I'm glad you guys can hear me. I don't know what happened. We tested the whole system up before we get on, but that's what happens. And when you have a great guest, they can pick the pieces up for you. Woo-wee! Save the show. So proof positive, a lady's going to carry her own weight on her own show. Isn't that true, everybody? And I try. You know what I tried to get loaded here. I love to be able to put the whistles and the applause in, so I'm just going to do it here now. Hey, Emily.
Thank you.
So that said, wow. I want to talk a little more specific too, and we're going to take some questions from you guys as well. So get your pens and pencils and your pads of paper out and write down some notes as we move along with what Emily's talking about. And we will pick on you, as they say at the half-hour mark. We're going to pick on you, and we're going to start doing some Q&A. I wanted to carry on, of course, the first part, the intro and everything. You saw the intro to the show. You saw the countdown. You saw how we do that part of the show, which is kind of cool. And I want to thank Emily again, because Emily created that, by the way, guys. That's her handiwork. That's her. Oh, my gosh. I said, can we do something like this? She says, leave it to me. And not too long later, she says, take a look and see if you like this. And I went, oh, wow. And so that's that. And then this morning, I did my voiceover with the music. It didn't come out exactly the way I wanted it for the intro, But Emily says, just give it to me. I'll convert the file and I'll put it together and I'll put it on the show page for you. So when you hit the countdown ticker and get the 2 minutes gone, you put that one up and then introduce yourself. Of course, there was supposed to be my melodious voice, but that didn't happen, did it? But those things are the way they are. So Emily, getting back to you and what you do, I know about connecting the dots. This is something that's near and dear to my heart because Emily has utilized that in our businesses. We also own a travel agency, and we've used it to connect the dots to build that business. She has used it with her clients for a number of years. It's a philosophy she follows. But what do you mean when you say how to monetize your message? I think that's a real key question, and then we'll have folks ask you about that later.
Well, thank you, Jeffrey. So, yes, when I say how to monetize your message, I just want to come from the perspective of my observations because I've been working with clients online for 10 years. I started out as the virtual assistant goddess in July 2010. So that's 10 years ago, coming up soon. And so I realized that there are people who do various things that could be coaches, they could be authors, they could be speakers. They might have a particular process or product that they want to sell. And the only way that people can really monetize their message is by being visible consistently. And that's where social media, video shows like this really help to make a difference in terms of having yourself be seen, having that engagement and interaction with people. And one of the things that I have discovered recently is that there are a lot of times people go, well, I just need to start a podcast, right? Because that's going to help tick the box of visibility and having consistent content. And what I want to almost say is yes. And before we do that, let's discover more about who you are and whether a podcast is the fastest path to the money. Because sometimes a person's personality, their background, their experience, it could actually be that podcasting isn't necessarily the first step. Or maybe there's some things to do with mindset that needs to happen before they can receive the money. And Jeff, I believe you've got a quote that I want to share by Zig Ziglar, and I've got the Choose to Win book here too. So I'm just going to go read it from that because there are a lot of people who want to serve and sometimes
Here we go.
Feel comfortable. Thank you so much. They don't feel comfortable receiving money. However, money is not the most important thing, but it is relatively close to oxygen. Zig Ziglar. And I just love that quote because
how true.
Exactly. We all need to breathe. We all need money. And so a lot of times people can have the wrong attitudes and beliefs about money. And so I really want to have a conversation with people to check where they're at, to know that it's morally good to earn money. It's morally good to make wise financial decisions. And another quote that's in this book, Choose to Win, which I'm going to read. Tom Ziglar has a friend and mentor called Rabbi Daniel Lapin. And he says about earning money, when you solve a problem for someone, you are often rewarded with a certificate of appreciation. We call this money. The more problems you solve, the more certificates of appreciation you get. God is never happier with his children than when they are solving the problems of his other children.
Wow. That's fantastic.
And so
I love that quote. I remember hearing that quote.
Yes, yeah, it's a great quote.
I think we've got a little bit of a delay in our for some reason we got a little bit of a delay, and I'm amazed. It's a little bit of a delay in internet. Anyway, can you still hear me all right, Emily? Because we can hear you fantastic. So great.
I just wanted
Carry on. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
And so
Right.
this quote really highlights, when it comes to monetizing your message, you need to know your value. You need to know how you solve a problem for someone else. And a lot of times people rush into doing things without having that real recognition of just who they are, how valuable they are, and what the problems are they're solving. And so when you work with a coach or work with other experts, you can really get clear on that message, and then you really advertise through a show like this how to solve people's problems. Because God has given us all unique gifts, talents, skills, and experiences in order to solve that. So
Excellent. I love that quote, Zig. I mean, there's so many great Zig quotes. We have a book full of them. The book, the small book of quotes, and it is profound. Yes, it is. Oh, thank you, Jill. I agree with you, by the way, on that. I can't disagree with that. Hey, Danica. Well, that's wonderful. You talked about podcasts, and I know that's the rave. Everybody says, "Oh, I'm going to do a podcast," and I'm not taking a thing away from podcasts. I think it's a wonderful thing. We did podcasts back at the origin of the IM Radio TV network. We were the IM Radio network. Okay, we, as you'll remember, Emily, we got that whole thing going. We had what? Well, we integrated with another network. We had up to 12 shows running at one point. And ladies and gentlemen, I might as well be honest with you. This is how I met me darling wife, Emily. I met her as a result of that other network. I needed to hire somebody because I was traveling for business. I was back and forth from the East Coast to the West Coast, and when shows would go on, and I was the producer running the network at this time, and at the other network, not this network. And I said, I can't be on a plane and producing a show. I've got to find somebody. And a very close friend of ours who lives in New Zealand said, "Oh, I have a great friend who just moved back to England. You're going to want to meet her. You may even know who she is." And I knew Emily's name. I'd seen a lot of stuff she had posted about her adventures around the world. I think she was like Gulliver's Travels kind of. She just had, she was in New Zealand, she was in Australia, she was here, she was there, West Coast, U.S., et cetera, et cetera. So we had a call, and she said, "Yeah, I'd love to help out." And we struck a deal, and Emily started producing those shows so that I could continue traveling. And that is honestly, guys, how we met. One thing fell into another, and the rest is just a great historic event. That's all I can say. But that said, I'm going to talk about podcasts for a second. I love podcasting. Thank you, Jill. Love you too. But here's the thing. If you really want to get your message out there right, get on camera. So, Emily, talk to me about why the video with this and social media, why that connection. Talk about that, please.
Well, as I started my show, back in the day, it was TV. And so I remember watching Oprah and being influenced by her and the psychologist she was interviewing. Now we're in this fantastic position where we can be the hosts and invite guests on to interview using social media and technology. And the research backs this up. There was a report February 7th, 2020, that shared that 51% of marketing professionals worldwide name video as the type of content with the best ROI, that's return of investment. So marketers who use video to grow their revenue 49% faster than non-video users. And that 64% of consumers make a purchase after watching branded social video. And then to back up the social media side of things, 73%. Yeah, I know, right? It is wow. It's like, why wouldn't you be using video to brand yourself, to create awareness?
Exactly.
It's like video marketing leads to profit. It helps with something that's called lead generation, which is basically helping the people who are meant to work with you find you, get in touch with you, and begin a relationship with you through the internet. So,
Fantastic. That is so true. I agree. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
that's okay. I know there's a bit of a delay, so I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to talk over you.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why we're having a delay. I mean, we've got over 100 Mbps of internet blasting into this house in Fort Myers, Florida. I'm kind of amazed we got a little bit of delay. Other than a lot of people are online these days, so we'll give it that excuse. But go right ahead. Thank you.
Well, the good news is that 73% of consumers claim that they have been influenced by a branded social media presence when making a purchasing decision. And it's also been said that 8 out of 10 people have purchased based on a video that they've watched. Wow,
that's quite a bit.
Yeah, that is a lot. So that's why when you want to monetize your message, you want to be video marketing and using social media.
Excellent. So talking about that, and I love what you said about 73% of consumers claim that they have been influenced by a brand's social media presence. And I think that holds true with TV advertising, the adverts, as we call them, and the rest we call them commercials here in the US. But when you think about it, every program you watch, I don't care what it is these days, and it brings up a funny subject, but it kind of provokes me. When we bought cable TV back in this country, they said no adverts. You're going to pay for your TV now. You don't have to use your rabbit ears anymore. And you're going to pay for your TV. And you don't have adverts because that money's going to take care of it. Well, that didn't last very long. I think there's more adverts on our cable channels now on the TV, which, by the way, we tried to get rid of, and they wouldn't let us. They said, oh, no, if you want internet to have this speed, you got to have the basic channels and that. And I think, what? I don't want that. So anyway, talking about monetizing your message, I think this is a very key thing, and I want you guys to stay really up to tune with this one. Talk about the 3 steps anyone can take to monetize a message. I love that. I know you've gone over them with me, and I really get it, and we utilize it. But folks, listen to this. This is really cool.
I like to use the analogy of someone who claims their land. If you consider that social media accounts, they're like real estate. So it's free to start an account with Facebook, with YouTube, with Twitter, with LinkedIn, with Pinterest, Instagram. I may have forgotten some, but those are the ones that are just coming to me right now. So that's your land. You can go and claim your land for free anytime. And I believe that's where you need to begin. Before you do anything else, go claim your land. And if you see the ticker that's running along the bottom of the screen, it says you can go follow me on any social media. If you look for I am Emily Miller. So that's what I did. I went out there and I set up everything branded with one username.
That's fantastic. And she's been very, very, very tenacious about teaching me that, guys. And sometimes you can teach an old dog a new trick or two, as I say. So thank you for that, darling wife. What can we expect with the Connecting the Dots show? I think that's really cool. Of course, I love the name. You got another point? Go ahead.
Well, yeah, that was just the first step. It's like claiming your land. I hadn't finished the analogy, so I will continue.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Go ahead, please. Okay.
Well, once you've claimed your land, what do you do as a real estate is you develop your land. You build your home, your camp. You've got to have your home base. You've got to basically have what your business is. And so when it comes to monetizing your message, that is typically your website, right? This is going to be where you're going to direct people to. And often when they arrive on your website, you're going to have something available for them that they can opt in for free in exchange for an email and you may also have a lot of great content for free, which is where the podcasting, TV shows, that comes in, because that's your free content. That's where you're able to say, hey, I want you to get to know, like, and trust me, and then lead people, have a clear call to action, which is where the social media becomes involved with the third step, which is inviting people over. Because now that you've claimed your land, you built your house, you need to invite those people over and check you out and see what you're all about and have some amazing things for offer. And I know at the moment we're in the middle of a pandemic. People are concerned about, well, is it okay to make offers, to ask for money to monetize your message? And yes, as those quotes we talked about earlier, it is okay, because as long as you're leading with value and you have things that are available for free, and maybe you choose to do something special which you wouldn't normally do, like you might offer installments. So instead of having people, if you're a coach, pay full price for a coaching package, you might say, well, I'm going to offer you installments. And if you do choose to pay in full, well, then I'm going to add value. I'm going to give you extra bonuses, right?
Excellent. Excellent. Does anybody have any question on that right now that you'd like to pop in to the chat? Go ahead and ask a question now as we proceed. We're coming up. We just passed the half-hour mark. And by the way, if we're still going and you still got questions, we're not going to block this at an hour. Okay, we could broadcast 24 hours a day. It's one of the beautiful things of this platform. So please pop a question in there, folks, if you have one at this point. Real quick, but I know Emily's got a few more really great points to cover. One of them, and I jumped on her asking the next question, but go right ahead.
Well, I actually had some questions come in from Dan Baker, who's the executive director of GPS Life Journey. And I know Dan was with us earlier.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
He had said to me that he wasn't sure if he could stay for the whole show because he had another appointment. So, Dan, if you're still around,
Right.
let me know. And if not, just watch the recording because I'm about to answer your question specifically. So he was asking, my biggest question on monetizing would be, is there a consistent process that should be used, i.e. what should come first, website, Facebook, etc.? And I feel like I've answered that question when I said about claiming your land. It's like I always start with the social media because that's a good way for testing things out, getting things going, and then building your home, which is your website. And I think I see that he says, yes, I'm here. So hi, Dan. I'm glad you're here. This
Excellent. Hey, Dan.
So next question
Excellent.
Is there a good resource that leads you through connecting all the media sites, or is that even possible? And the answer to that is yes. There are plenty of third-party tools and resources that will help you to share your message consistently across social media, and even tools that will help you to if you're blogging on your website, which I highly recommend because you can repurpose videos like this and other content to go on your blog. So there are tools that will allow you to share your blog to others through RSS feeds and social media. And so I actually have a blog that I did the other day that talks about these resources, my favorite tools, if you like. So I will pop the link in here after this show so you can go check that out. If you want to look at things in general, you just need to visit IamEmilyMiller.com and you'll find a couple of blogs there. So yeah, I hope that helps.
Fantastic. I have another question for you too, and I kind of interjected it in the midst of thing. I was playing with the controls. I can't help it. I'm a hands-on guy. I was trying to give everybody a look at the different green screen backgrounds and things, and we don't have all we're going to have. We're still building the studio background the way we really like it. But to give you guys an example of what we can do with this, the tickler on the file, we can put the banner up, we can bring the comments up that you're bringing in. This platform is huge. And we didn't know what we were going to go back to. But Emily, I want to get back to that question and what to expect from the Connecting the Dots show, if you don't, unless you feel you've covered the base on that. That was a question I had, and what's that
really,
going to look like? Yeah.
So what this is going to look like, it's going to look like me answering questions. And I can see we've had some more questions come in while I was answering Dan's question, and I'll get to those in a minute. It's also going to be having people join me as guests and maybe doing some hands-on training or coaching to help them get clear on who they are and how they can share their message with the world, what's kind of their path, if you like, for success, because I believe that based on who you are, your experience, that, there are going to be stories that we're going to want to share to people that are really going to connect and help people go, oh, that person gets me. I want to learn more from them.
Excellent. So talk about live guests. I mean, you are going to bring guests onto your show as well, correct? I mean, you're technically a guest on my show today. And you know what the funniest thing was, when I was doing the prelude, as they say, to the show earlier today, when you were busy with a client, I said, I'm going to pop on, do a little prelude and play with some stuff and talk a little bit about COVID-19. I kept saying the time of my show because I'm thinking interactive interviews is 3 p.m. and your show is 4 p.m. And I said, oh, goodness, talk about some boo-boos. But anyway, wow. So right now, I mean, we're looking at another about 15 minutes, guys, of scheduled show. But again, we'll stay longer for you if you like. We still got some, oh, gosh, we got a lot of guests there. Does anybody get another question at this point, Emily? There we go. Very good, Jill. Yeah, love those steps as they tie to, yes.
Tie to messaging. So
excellent.
Thank you, Jill. Glad that's
and
helpful.
Dan said that it did answer his question. And he said, thank you. That was fantastic. So don't be bashful in the chat, guys. That's what it's there for. Here we go. We got Gail. Gail's got a great question there. Here you go.
So Gail is asking, what are some of the best opt-in options that you use? And so again, it really depends on who you are, who your audience is, what is the problem that you're solving. And Gail, if you want to put in the comments what the problem is you solve, then we could do a little brainstorming right here and now. Traditionally, opt-ins can be anything from like an ebook or some kind of recording, whether it's an audio or a video. It could even be like you're inviting people to join you live on a webinar. Maybe you're going to offer like a mini series where you train or teach people live. It could be like a challenge. I've seen a lot of people offer 5-day challenges, 14-day challenges, even 30-day challenges. And those can be really good depending on what the problem is you're solving, how long a lead time you want to have before someone says yes to buying from you as well. Because the research shows that when it comes to sales, people need to see you and hear from you at least, I think it's 7 to 12 times. And so often people give up way too soon. They don't follow up consistently. They don't stay top of mind, which is why a TV show like this is brilliant, because it can be once a week. You can be sending it out to your email list as a part of a newsletter. You can be blogging about it, all sorts of things. So Gail, does that help answer your question?
Wow. That's awesome information, Emily. That's great. Jill's got one there too. Let me pop that up for you.
So Jill is
I don't know if you saw this one.
No, thank you. I'm just reading this now. So Jill is asking, when you invite people over or post, what times of day are best? And again, I'm going to say it depends on your audience, because if your audience are near you, Jill, on the west coast of the States, then it's going to be your time of day. Whereas if people are on the East Coast, there may be some times that it kind of fit in the middle, or if they're all around the world, then really what's recommended, and this kind of surprises people and can sound like a lot of work, but is actually you want to be posting several times a day, and that way your chances of being discovered, being seen is more likely, because people have several opportunities. And the other interesting thing that I'm not sure how many people are aware of is that a post only has a certain lifespan. You can post something today, for example, on Twitter, and it's quickly going to be forgotten, because Twitter is a very fast-paced moving. I mean, they only give you so many characters to write your message in, whereas Facebook might be a bit longer. Pinterest is actually one that can keep on delivering again and again. And likewise, videos. Videos are something that people will discover and watch time and time again. So they're very powerful.
That's fantastic. Twitter, there's a whole different concept about Twitter. There are people in politics, and I'm not going to get into all that are using Twitter quite a bit to make their message clear. And it is grabbing people right away. Interesting about Pinterest. I wasn't aware that Pinterest had a shelf life. Facebook puzzling, because you post something, you think that all your friends are going to see it. No, they're not. The algorithms knock it down to a point. I don't know. I don't know how many actually get to see it, but I think it's on. I have had posts. I'll be very honest with you. I have had posts that have gone to over 100. And I think what's happened is the post was significant enough for information that more and more people started liking it and loving it, etc., making comments. So it carried on. It developed a life that kept on going. In fact, some of them go over a period of multiple days. I'll say, oh, wait a minute, somebody posted on that again and popped it back up on top. So it's very interesting how those algorithms work. So just to rely on Facebook, and we do broadcast to Facebook, guys. Part of this platform is to get this to our Facebook page, each of us, and also to our Facebook business page, and also to build that great video platform, YouTube. Because once you start building a great reference in YouTube, and you get up over 100 people liking, sharing, etc., you go into another category, and people are going to see you a lot quicker. So that's great stuff, family. You talked about an offer for your guests today, and I think those that have hung in here live with us, we're coming up on about 10 minutes left of showtime. There you go. Hey, Jill, you're on Facebook now. See, it works, and we will. And I just want to throw, before you answer that, Emily, I want to throw another tip in, which proves the point of what Emily's saying. We have now physically done 5 shows. The first 2 I kind of did myself, just as a hello. Hey, how are you? I'm back. And right now, our statistics on the IM Radio TV network broke 4,000. 4,000 in a couple of weeks. I mean, and I know that's Facebook. I appreciate that's Facebook stats, all right, of people that have been connected to what our message is, what we're doing. They've taken a look at it. Again, it's not exactly how many are what's that word I'm looking for, Emily? Staying with it, maybe, or how do you say that? Right. But go ahead.
Well,
what is that word I'm talking about?
I'm thinking of the stickiness. It's like people who stick around who, yeah. I don't know. I can't
Yeah.
think of the word either.
Well, yeah, but there's another word. I guess it's kind of technical. I was testing you and you're testing me, so we neither one of us answered it correctly. But that's cool. Hey, we can have one wrong, right? That means still getting a 99 here today. That's cool.
Yeah.
So that said, Facebook is great. Facebook is great, and it's a great broadcast platform. This software we're using focuses on that. The next level up from where we are even goes to more, even gets you in. Actually, Pinterest, we found out, is now an availability for us that we can broadcast live into Pinterest. Imagine that. Thank you, Jill, very much. Appreciate it. Talk to you later. Jill's got to jump off.
Yes,
She's
she
so
had
impressed with
told
both
me
of us. Thank you so much, Jill. We appreciate you. All right. So talk about this. Talk about your offer. I want people to get this, and Jill knows about this. I know you had already talked with her. She hung in here right to this point too. So go ahead and present your offer, please, so people know where you're at with this and what you're doing. Thank you.
So I have 3 spots available in my calendar next week for people who want to have a strategy session with me, who want to get that clarity about who they are and how they can monetize their money. So if you are interested in a strategy session, it's up to an hour long, then please leave a comment in this message under this video, or feel free to message me so that we can find a time that will work for us, and we can get some clarity on what is the best way for you to monetize your message, and also if there are any next steps that we can take together, or if I can refer you and recommend you to someone else who might be a better fit. And I did want to share that, as Jeffrey mentioned, I did a lot of the setup for this particular interview today in terms of the countdown video, the banners and things like that. So I am the go-to person, if you like, for setup. And when you choose to join the I Am Radio TV network, then you'll be having a one-to-one with me. And I know that Jeffrey is having conversations with people right now who are interested in joining us and having a regular show with us. So that's something to look forward to. And if you've got any questions about that, again, get in touch. We're here. We're looking forward. We're excited to discovering more about who you are and what your message is all about.
Fantastic, Emily. Yay! I'll do the echo clap. Yay! There we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being with us. And we're still going to be here for a bit longer. We're not shutting down yet. I want to see if there are any more questions. I'll talk a little bit to what's happening with the network, because this is Emily and I, this network. This is both of us. And each one of us will have our own show, our own identity in the network. What we're building is a collaborative. It's a collaborative for people, like-minded people, to get together. We call it the roundtable approach. Get together and work together and collaborate and help and like and share each other. Also share tips with each other. When you join with us in this network, and the investment is going to be minuscule in comparison to a lot of different programs and groups and things that are out there. This is fantastic technology. This is really huge. And we've still got a few bugs in it. We're working them out, which is why we're both doing a show right now. I know one of the most important things with this particular show, just talk about that for a minute, and what we're doing is you've got to have a great internet connection. Live streaming TV style takes more bandwidth, as they say. And if you're going to be the one doing your show, you really should be hardwired to your modem. I'm going to say that. Now let's go back to what the network's all about. Again, a collaborative of like-minded people getting together and wanting to monetize their message. Emily, you've done a great job in explaining the why to monetize your message. A lot of people, including Emoa, if I can point at myself correctly in the camera here we go. For a long time, gave myself away. Okay. There's a theory about that. Yes, we are supposed to help other people. Yes, we are supposed to do for other people. Okay. But the bottom line is this, in so much that God created us as water bodies. I mean, we're a big percentage water. I want to use water as the analogy here. Water is the metaphor, so to speak, in explaining this. We as people need to be watered so that we can water. And you say, well, what do you mean by that? Let's take the story of the village. I love this story. A village has a well, a central well that everybody goes to in the morning to get their daily ration of water. And it's always been very good. It's always had enough water. Even during dry seasons, it had enough water. One day, somebody said, I think we're in for a very severe drought this year, and I'm a little bit concerned that I'm not going to have enough water. In other words, they're talking about themselves, not about the village, not the we, but the I, okay? That person snuck out at night and started taking more of their than they should have for a share of water. Others caught on to this and found out that this person was doing it, and they also started to do it. They also started to take more than they should. Okay, the bottom of the well ran dry. So the bottom line of this story is, if you allow your well to run dry and you've given everything you can give, you're not going to have anything else to give, because you're going to have to get nurtured again yourself. You're going to have to rebuild yourself and just bring yourself back and have water again, because if you don't have it to give, if you get what I'm saying. So for a long time, I felt that that's the way it should be. I just got to give. And we still should have that as a philosophy, a mindset. However, but you've got to think of it this way. We are in, I'm not going to use the word entitlement. I don't like that word, but we are, and we was given the ability to earn a living. Okay. If you can't earn a living to support yourself, your household, your bills, your loved ones, your immediate expenses, it doesn't mean to run crazy and buy jet airplanes and stuff like that. Although if you can afford it, why not? And if you use it to help other people, then it's a great investment. Okay. And I'm a pilot, so gosh, I'd love to have a jet airplane. Let's be serious. Emily knows that. But,
I do. You're playing crazy.
But let's get back. I'm a plane crazy guy. But when you get back to the theory of it, okay, do what you have to do to make sure your bases are covered, plus, so that you can do tithing, you can help other people. It is the way we were created. God didn't intend for us just to wither and die, okay? Though the day will come when we are all going to depart this place. He intended us to be successful. He intended us to be happy. He intended us to be healthy. And on top of that, to have enough of what we call the energy of money so that we, in fact, can help other people. So when you say, I don't think I should charge that much money for what I have to offer, I want you to think about it this way. Emily and I have talked about this time and time again. It's a philosophy of ours now. What you personally have to offer is priceless. And I mean priceless, because there is no other person in this entire world that is exactly like you. There may be a person that looks like you, sounds like you, might even be a relative, but they are not you. You were created uniquely you. You have special gifts that you are endowed with by our Creator, and it's your responsibility to share those gifts, but you have to take care of you too. You do. I mean, there's no other question about it. So when you're thinking about what you want to do to present yourself and to monetize your message and to get the word out to the world, who you are and what you have to offer, think about what you are really worth. You have to have a value. You have to have an intrinsic value within you before you can have and give to anybody else. And that's where I stand on that one, folks. I think did we have a question up there? Let's see. Okay, Dan, thank you very much for putting that up. Here you go, Emily.
Thank you, Dan. Yes, I've been working with Dan to help them bring GPS Life Journey online so that we can offer facilitated workshops using Zoom platform, and also talking about how they can get their message across through podcasts and their website. So I'm actually thinking, Dan, that you and I should do a show together, because I'd love to help further and do live demonstration.
That'd be fantastic. There's an offer for you and a challenge, Dan. There's a challenge. I love that. I love that. So, Emily, talk about GPS a little bit. We've got some time, and folks, by the way, get your quick Q&A in there. You know, ask a question. I see we've still got quite a few people left. You've got to have a question. And if you don't, and I want to thank you from our hearts, from mine and Emily's, for being here with us on the launch of her show. From here on in, you won't see my mug. You're just going to see hers and her guest. Shall she have one?
Thank you.
So you won't need to look at me. She will have and then I'll be sitting back, twiddling my thumbs because I don't have my hands on the controls here, So GPS.
Yeah.
I call it God's purpose and significance, and it's said a few different ways, but I love to say, what is God's purpose and significance in your life? So go ahead, Emily, carry that one.
Well, for people who are just joining us, who may have missed the beginning, it's like GPS Life Journey is really an excellent process for us to work together in terms of helping you understand who you are, who God created you to be, how you can listen to God, and to also come up with your mission statement and your roadmap for success. And what I love about it is that what you were talking about, Jeffrey, is it helps you to understand the value you bring to the world, because a lot of times people struggle with that. They don't know how valuable they are. They don't know how their contribution can make a difference in the world. And I was privileged to have a conversation with Danica Tribble earlier today, and I don't know if she's still watching, but she was sharing how she does a daily dose of Danica. She does these videos, and I'm sure she won't mind me sharing this. If she does, she can tell me later. But she was talking about
no. I'm sure she'll love it.
Well, particularly as is what she covers in her daily dose with Danica. She talks about her life experience. How she's overcome personal problems. And so one of those was to do with eating disorders. And obviously God had laid it on her heart last night to talk about this. It wasn't what she intended to talk about, but it came out. And she got a message from a lady who happened to catch that video and say, "Thank you so much. That message was exactly what I needed to hear in that moment, and to help her overcome something." So yeah.
That's I love to hear that. I love to hear. I also had the pleasure of having a call with Danica yesterday, and we get into some, as we call it, heavy stuff to do with all this thing called life, and what we learn from the time we're children, the things we're faced with during the life, the falsities we tell ourselves, all that stuff. And Danica, you have an amazing story. It's tough to say this word, but I love the word gift. And it is a gift because when you come out and share it to the extent that you should share it, the people you reach, like that lady, like that one lady that got in touch with you because of last night's, oh wow. I just think about the impact. We'll call it the impact that you are going to have on people worldwide that are dealing with so similar issues and problems that you have dealt with, and that you've climbed on top of it, and you've kicked it in the, you know what, and here you are emerging from all of that, shining. So congratulations to you. We're blessed to know you and to be working with you in the future. And I know you're going to be on doing some shows with Emily and Jill, you guys in your collaborative, and we'll do more with GPS and explain to you more of what that's all about and what's coming up with GPS. because we're very, very excited about GPS too. And we have a whole show to do just on GPS, by the way. God's purpose and significance in your life. GPS, it's a guidance system. Think about it that way. It's a guidance system. GPS is a global positioning satellite system. We call it sat-nav over in England. It's sat-nav. And satellite navigation, they like to use shorter things than GPS. But when Pastor Nolan Rollins wrote the program in the book some years ago, he knew that people would think about GPS as a guidance system. He also knew in the military used GPS for years. So he also said, what do you think the letters also stand for? And because to me immediately came God's purpose and significance in my life and your life. So that's GPS. That'll be another show, another day, and we're going to be very proud and pleased to bring that to you. I love that you're going to have Dan Baker on as a guest, Emily, and talk about. Dan is the executive director of GPS, and I am going to be in touch.
I'm sorry, I didn't appreciate the delay. I was saying I hope his wonderful wife Risa can join us too, because she's excellent to chat with.
There you go.
In terms of uncovering who you are,
right.
and how you can use that in your life to make the right choices. Because as Ziegler says in the book, Choose to Win, it's all about choosing good habits over bad habits and starting with what goes in here, the mental, first of all, and then bringing in the spiritual and the physical so that you can be a positive influence to your family, make wise financial choices, bring that personal energy, which will help improve and drive your career so that you can be significant to others and leave an intentional legacy. So.
Excellent. Emily, this has been fantastic. Thank you for being on with me. I wish you could have heard what I said in the beginning. I'll have to try to talk to you a bit later about it.
Yeah.
I didn't rehearse it either. I don't rehearse. I just ad lib. I just come in and do what I have to do. I focus on it. I put my intention to it. I let the guidance of our Lord and Savior say, okay, drip, drip, drip. Get the words. Let's go. Let's get going here. Ladies and gentlemen, any other comments or questions? You have an offer on the table, Emily, for 3 people to take advantage of what Emily is offering. I think that's fantastic. I have been a recipient of exactly what she's talking about. I do have the pleasure of living with this beautiful lady. So I've seen it, I've heard it, and I'll tell you, it does wonderful things. It really does. When you have this, I call it an arsenal of knowledge, an arsenal meaning you have so much knowledge, Emily, to impart on others. It just, I feel like I became a sponge, folks. I had to become that sponge because if you haven't figured it out yet, I love to talk. But I also learned a long time ago to listen twice as much as I talk. And why? Because God blessed me with 2 ears that work and 1 mouth. And as I said, I talk a lot. That means I do listen twice as much as well. And I do listen to Emily, believe me, when she starts speaking words of wisdom when it comes to all of this, that's going to help you monetize your message and bring success to you. Wow. So think about joining us in our collaborative with the I Am Radio TV network. There's going to be a special get together once a month for all show hosts. And that's basically what we're saying. I put that out a little earlier today. If you would like to have your own show on this network, then you need to get in touch with either one of us, or both. It is very important that you think about it, give it some thought, give it some prayer, and focus on what is my message. And just don't keep it in. You need to get it out. You need to get that message out. So many people out there need to hear. We've all lived that unique life. We talked about it already. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I love you. I thank you for being here. We love you. And this has been fun. I wish I had a voice in the beginning, but hey, listen, tech stuff happens. We're going to be we have recognized we have to replace. Yeah, we have to replace one laptop. I think that's one of the issues we're having. The laptop defaulted on the for some reason on the microphone. I couldn't figure out what it was. I had to run through diagnostics to fix it. So luckily, Emily also helped me learn how to do that. So there you go. Any last words, Mrs. Miller?
Yes, so thank you all so much for joining us today and for listening to my message about how you can monetize your message. And remember the 3 steps to claiming your land, building your house, camp, and then inviting people over. And I will be popping in the comments some of the resources that I've been mentioning here. So you can go check them out, read the blog for free about the best resources. And if you are seriously interested in having a strategy session, like I said, I've opened up 3 spots on my calendar for next week so that you can jump on for a clarity session with me and help you make the best choices. And I also wanted to mention, Jeffrey, because I didn't say this earlier, that I have a Facebook group. It's called Living Life Fearlessly, which I started at the beginning of last month when the whole COVID-19 season was starting for a lot of people being stuck, staying at home. And so I'm still offering that as a place for people to gather together. If you're finding that you're getting anxious or about anything, you'll find a lot of great resources about how you can develop a stronger victory mindset. And also, I happen to know that a few people don't find this technology thing easy for some reason. I'm not sure why, but if you have any fears about getting on camera, about using social media, I want that also to be a place where we can get together. You can ask questions, and then I will pick some of those questions to use to do this show, basically connecting the dots. So
wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Emily. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The conclusion of another show. And, though we had a few tech problems, we're going to work out all those bugs. We thank you so very much for being with us. I am Jeffrey Miller, and this is my lovely wife on this side, if I can point correctly, Emily Miller. And this was the I Am Radio TV interactive interviews show featuring Emily Miller with her new show, Connecting the Dots. So see us again. Check our schedule. Like and share, please. More people that like and share these shows, the more we can do and the more people we will reach. And then when you do your shows, it's going to be the same thing. And if you want to be a guest, if you just like to be a guest and just be interviewed, get in touch with us as well, because we'd love to talk to you and make sure that we are in sync with what your message is and what you'd like to get out to the world. So God bless everybody. Thank you again for joining us.
Lots of love. Thanks for watching.
Take care. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye for now.